Choppers Cafe, and I'm out with Dale, but we've got a mate of mine along today, Karl, and you may remember Karl from the IAM. So Karl's taken the opportunity to get a check ride with Dale in advance of his master's requalification as a master's mentor. So we've got a beautiful day in Wiltshire, absolutely perfect, middle of April, and some great biking company today. And I find myself riding position 3 today, which is interestingly something I've never had to do. Never ridden in more than a pair of bikes. So as I understand it, my positioning is very much up to where I feel safest on the road. And Dale's on the Benelli today. The Monster has a slight brake problem. So it's 2 Italians and a German riding through the Savanac forest. So Karl and myself have already come some 80 miles or so down from Northamptonshire. Dale from his secret headquarters in the New Forest. Great to be back down here. It's a very historically famous tree, something like 1,000 years old there in the forest. So now I'm in a bike 2 position in effect with Lost Karl. And now I'm in a bike 1 position, and we come into Marlborough. What you might not be able to pick up on the camera is the roar of the Benelli. Very distinctive sound, quite unique I think. Oh, beautiful. British Racing Green, what a lovely car. Okay, so through the village of Rawton now, which opens up a very scenic road with some nice twists down through to Avebury. So I'm shooting today. I normally shoot in 1080p. I'm shooting in 1440. I'm just trying to get my YouTube uploads just a little bit sharper. I notice on some channels you watch and they're uploading in 1080p, but the footage seems to be so much sharper. I don't know quite why that is. I think it has something to do with the bigger channels, with the larger number of subscribers. That YouTube can actually render in a higher resolution, but we will see. So I shall upload these in 1440 and we'll see how they turn out. It's not a good place to stop, is it? We do have a view across the corner. Strange for me following an RT today. Obviously before my heart incident it was my ride. And through the little town of Rawton, or village, not sure which. Northern edge of Salisbury Plain. I'm just holding that car in there. And into the 40. Take a gear. I'd say the Monster's comfortable for a day ride. I mean, for me, with my sort of aged body now, I can probably do maybe 280 miles, something like that. But I know about it when I get off. It's not like the old days of riding the armchair of the RT. Okay, into the 50. I'm heading south now towards Avebury. And we're all moving away from the big yellow truck. Crossroads ahead, following traffic, keeping up. Whenever you follow Dale, you get a real sense of the authority of the ride. Years and years and years of training at the highest level. Just looks absolutely rock solid. And it really helped me to learn, actually, just to see how it should be done. Well, I'm very much in esteemed company today with Dale and with Karl, who went a long way towards helping me towards my IM pass. And Karl is not just a Masters, but I think a Masters mentor as well, with the IAM. So setting up for the left-hander. Quite a long view over the bank there. And then right-hander coming up. And now the left-hander. Listen to the Benelli. I'll get as close as I dare. Being held up somewhat by this little red car. This is my first proper ride since November. Apart from just taking the bike locally just to get the MOT. And we come into Avebury. Watch those front wheels. Gives you the first clue if the vehicle's going to come out on you. Just drift in for the oncoming vehicle. Good long view down the road here. Dale's saying the Benelli, it's tricky in 30 zones because it's just a stop-start bike, really. It really wants to go. So we shall be coming back to Avebury at the end of the ride. Past the stones, still here 5,000 years later. Going down the processional avenue. the car around the corner over the field. I know when I was out with the Northants police, PC Chris Tall on the bike safe day, it was one of the learning points that came out for me, was just how much the professional emergency services rider sees and how fast they're able to synthesize all that data into useful information to shape the ride, so to enable them to make the fastest possible progress. And I think in a nutshell that's the difference between your police rider and your average rider. I know when I've been out with Dale before, I'll come back and think, oh, I've done pretty well there, and just quietly he'll point out about 17 things that I didn't see that he did. So this is a new road for us today, just cutting south from Avebury down to the Barge Inn, which is a recommended biker pub. Decent food, a pleasant location. Beautiful scenery, can't beat England in the spring. Like I said, with 2 Italians and a German as well. Looks like this is a burial site, Neolithic burial site. Maybe a hill fort, eh? I'm dropping down now into the Vale of Pewsey, where we should find some lunch at the Barge Inn. Okay, so I'm still number 3, and Dale is now doing a demo ride for Karl. Again, beautiful day in April, midweek, so the roads are nice and quiet. The hedge there gave me the line of the road. Blind corner there, so we don't get too close to the outside. Into the national speed limit. And some of my favourite curves as well. Superb view here right to the top of the hill. So here we are in the staggered formation, so if something happens, then it just gives me slightly more time to brake if I need to. But of course you've got to be continually aware of the bike in front. Karl moves position slightly. Well, like I said, this is the first time I've ridden properly for a day ride in with more than 2 bikes, so it's a bit of a learning experience for me. So we've just refuelled in Amesbury, heading north now via Upavon, Pewsey, Marlborough and back to the Red Lion at Avebury. Very much in British Army country here, which seems to be stirred into life again as a result of the Ukraine conflict. Of the whole road surface. There was one car hidden from my sight there, but again got a lot of information with that glance. And I think I'm learning more and more the key is you've got to have full-on concentration. You can't afford to let your mind drift, because once you start to drift you don't pick up the visual cues. You know, the glimpse of a car over a hedge, or the pothole, or the gravel, or the cyclist that maybe is up ahead. So again we get the shape of the road going ahead, don't we, through the hedge. Sometimes it can be a telegraph pole that gives you the clue. And you're constantly looking to change position to balance your safety with the maximising the information with the view ahead. And it's that balance, I think, that again is a bit of biker wisdom. It's not something I've mastered at all, but I'm certainly better at it than I used to be. So here, because I can see the whole road surface a quarter of a mile ahead, I actually can position really just to take the straightest, smoothest path. We might be coming into Upavon. Next stop, Pewsey. Not a road we come on very often between Pewsey and Marlborough. A few little tests here, which find when you're riding everything's a technical challenge, but if you claim to be able to ride to an advanced standard, in other words you just do the basics really well, then you should be able to be dropped onto any road and ride to the same standard. It shouldn't be your knowledge of the road that actually determines how well or how safely, how quickly you ride, but the even a strange set of roads, the system should work equally well. Cars bunching ahead. It's what I call a concertina. You get 3 or more cars together, and one up front just slows down slightly for something, and the car number 2 is slightly too close, so he has to brake even harder, and then car number 3, if he's awake, has to brake even harder than that. And I think we drop down this hill into the town, and there it is. Including Marlborough School, where Winston Churchill went to school. Back into the national speed limit. Got a comment here that the government is steadily taking these national speed limits away from us, dumbing them down to 50 miles an hour, and I personally don't think it has anything to do with road safety. It's just the continual relentless war on the motorist, along with the dreaded electric car.